Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to create a simple Java program using Eclipse IDE, and we are also going to discuss about how to perform a standard input and output operations. So now let's start with the Eclipse IDE. Let's open Eclipse IDE. So the moment when you open a Eclipse IDE, you will be getting a window, and it will ask for the selecting the directory to store your projects. Here you have to specify the directory. Here you can click browse button and you can link your directory to save all the Java projects. So I have selected that directory. So after that you have to click the launch button. When you click the launch button, it starts opening the Eclipse IDE. You have to wait for a few seconds. So now you can see the Eclipse IDE interface. So this is the Eclipse IDE where you can create a Java project, and to create a Java project you have to click file, select new option. Inside new you can see there is an option called Java project. You can select Java project. So now here you can configure the name of the project. For example, so my application, the name of the project is, and the rest all you can use a default one. Then finally you have to click finish. And if you get a message like this, module information, just ignore it, don't create. So now the project is created. In the left side there is a package explorer where you can see the project folder. Here when you expand, you can see the Java runtime environment is configured automatically, and there is a folder called src where the Java files will be stored. And now we are going to create a Java program. So before that, you should understand Java is basically an object-oriented programming language. So here everything is a class. So object-oriented programming is based on a classes and objects. So if you want to create a Java program, you have to create a class. So to add a new class, you have to right click the project, then select new, and you can select the class file that you want to add. Here you'll be getting a configuration of your Java class file, and here this is the place you have to give the name of the class file. So I'm going to give a sample. Now you can click finish. So when you click finish, in the left side in the package explorer you can see a sample.java is created, and every Java file is extended with the extension of .java. So that is the identification of a Java file. And the right side automatically it opens, and you can see the source code is automatically generated. By default it will create a public class and followed by the class name. So class is a keyword. It is used to specify this particular file as a class file. So now let's start with the coding. So this is a class file, and in order to execute this class file we need a main function. Similarly, how we are doing a main function in a C++ program. So in Java also we need to provide a main function for the class. So to create a main function, just you have to type main and you have to press control space. So you will be getting a coding assistance, and from coding assistant we can select the coding. So first option is a main method, public static void main. So that function we have to generate. Just open it. So now the main function is added. So this main function is used to execute the program. So without main function you cannot execute the Java application. So now we have added a main function. So now in order to test that, we are going to discuss about a simple input and output operations, a standard input and output operations. So first is we are coming to the output functions, output function in Java programming. So to output a data, we have to use a function called system.out.println. So this function we have to use to perform the output operation. Now let's see how we can use it. So just you have to type system. So in system, where S is a cap letter. So Java is a case sensitive language. So you have to little careful about the cases. So using this system.out.println, we can print data. For example, I want to print a message called welcome to Java. So now the function is ready, and you have to end with a semicolon. So now we can run this. We can execute this program. To execute the program, you have to right click and select run as, and there is an option called Java application. You can select, and if you get this message, just give OK. So when you give OK, so now in the right side you can see automatically pop out the output window, and you will be getting the corresponding output as per the instruction. So this is about printing an output. So here, if you want to print this particular after welcome to Java, if you want to print after welcome, you want to place it to a new line, you can do that by using a /n. So just like a C++, here also you can apply /n, /t, those escape sequences. So for example, if I run the program, so now welcome is printed. After welcome, the remaining data is coming to the new line, since we are adding a /n. So like that you can format the data, and also we can print the next one more data also. For example, I want to print hello world message. So for that you have to use again the system.out.println. We can pass the message. So now when you look the output, now you can see that first we are printing a welcome to Java, the next we are printing hello world. So automatically the next hello world is coming in the next line. So here how it is happening is, if you look at the function name println, so ln is used for to place a new line. After printing a welcome to Java, it will place a new line character. So automatically when you use println function, automatically you will be getting a new line. So no need to worry about the new line. If you want to remove the new line, so what you have to do is just you have to ignore the ln. Just you have to remove ln, so not here. So just I'll here. So if I remove ln here, so after printing welcome to Java, so directly you will be getting hello world without any new line. So if you want to check that output, I'll show you that. Again you can see the output welcome to Java, followed by there is no new line, followed by immediately you will be getting the hello world message. So this is about how to display a string data. Similarly, if you want to display a number or a floating point number, we can display using a system.out.println. So let's see how we can do that. So if you want to store a data in a variable, in Java also there is a data types, like C++, there are some set of data types. We can use it. It is similar to a C++. There are some few differences. If you want to store a numerical value, we can use a int data type. For example, int is equal to 10. So like this you can store a value in a variable, and if you want to display the value of this a, you can use this print function or a println function. For example, we can use like this, the value is and equal to, then here in Java, there is a one special operator, special meaning for the plus operator called concatenation. So you can use a plus operator to concatenate the value is that string and the value, for example, a. So now I will be getting the output. The value is 10. So like that we can able to display the data by combining a string, the value is and the number. So to combine both, we have to use a plus operator. Okay, so plus operator here performs a concatenation of the first operand and the second value. It performs a concatenation. So similarly, we can also use a floating point numbers, and for example 10.45. So for floating point numbers, you have to use F symbol. So otherwise it will be considered as a double. In Java, all floating point numbers are double. So what you have to do is you have to instruct the compiler that this value is a floating point value. And now let's check the output again. You can see the value is 10.45. So similarly, the same kind of thing we can achieve. For example, if you want to create a pi value, you can use a double value also. Pi is equal to 3.14. So now I can display the pi value. So like this. So the value is 3.14 we are getting. Okay, so like this, if you want to display any data, we can display using the variable. So if you know the variable, we can display it inside the system.out.println. So this is what the basic output operation in Java. So next we are going to discuss about how we can take input, the basic input function. The input function of a Java program is the very simplest way to get the input from the user is we can use a predefined Java class called scanner class, and this class is available in a package. A package is similar to a library file, and the name of the library is actually java.util. So inside java.util there is a class called scanner class. So we have to include this package, include this library if you want to use the scanner class. Now let's see how we can do that. So to include the java.util package, we have to use a keyword called import java.util. Then the name of the class. So after including the package, we can use the scanner class for getting the input. Now let's see how we can do that. So here, after importing a scanner class, we have to create one object for this scanner class. So for example, I create a variable called sc. Sc is a variable, and I'm going to construct a scanner class object using a new operator, scanner. Inside, we have to scan from the keyboard. The keyboard we can access using a standard object called system.in. This is a standard input object, and this standard input object is linked, it is directly linked with the keyboard as a software abstraction. So whatever you type in the keyboard, we can scan using the scanner object, right? So this is what first step we have to do. So after this, we have to read the data. So for example, let's see how we can read a integer data. So before that, to read a proper data, you need to provide a specific function to access every data. So now I'll show you the list of methods to read the data. In scanner class, to read the specific data, we can use the following methods. So for example, if you want to read a integer data, In scanner class, we have to apply the function next int, where I is a cap letter, and to read floating point value, we have to use next float and next double, and where every word starts with the first word starts with a small letter and other words starts with a cap letter. And for reading a double value, you have to use a next double, and of course we can also read a string data also. To read a string data, we have to use a next function, and next function reads only one word, and if you want to read a multiple words, we have to use a next line. Now let's see how we can read a integer data. So before accessing integer data, so first we can declare a variable number, and we can ask the user to enter a number using a system.print function. So here it's better we can use a print function without a new line. So we can ask the user enter the number. So after that, we can store the number using the function, the SC object. The SC object is a scanner object, and when you put a dot, you can see the list of functions available. There are so many functions. So I have listed out only the basic, most commonly used function. So to read a integer, you have to select next int. We can select next int and semicolon. So now we can, after storing the data, now we'll check the data by printing that data. So I'll print like this, number colon, using plus operator and combining it like this. So now we can check the output by executing the Java application. Now see, it is actually asking the input and waiting for the input. So I'm giving a number 100. So the number is getting stored in the variable number variable, and from that number variable we are able to access the data. So this is how we can access the integer data. And if you want to take a floating point data, so what we have to do is just you have to change the data type of the variable. For example, this variable I want to take a floating point data. So what you have to do is you have to change it to floating point data, and the function you have to change, instead of int next int function, we have to change to next float. So these are the two modifications you have to make. Change the data type of a variable where you want to store the data, and change the function next float. So now again we can check the output. Right click, run as Java application. So here now we can pass a floating point number. Now we can able to store floating point number 10.45, and the same number we are able to access also. So same way we can store a double value. So just change the data type, and the variable you can keep it same, and the function you have to change as double. So now again we can check the output, and now I can give us some floating point number, for example 3.14, and we are able to get a stored value 3.14 using a print function. So this way we can able to access store a integer value as well as the floating point value. Similarly, we can also read a text data. For example, sometimes you want to store a name of the person. What you can do is we can declare a variable called name. So to declare a variable, a text data variable, you have to use a string object where S is a cap letter. So remember, the string is not a data type, it is an object to store a textual data. So string name I have mentioned, and enter the name. We can also modify the output, enter the name, and here we can change the variable name. And here when it comes here, we can use a function called next. So you have to use the next function only if the name is having only one word. For reading a single word, you have to use a next function. So after reading a name, we can store it, and we can we can print it using a name colon and use the plus operator. And now let's recheck the output. Now it is asking enter the name, so I have to give the name. So for example, I'll give the name as a Vmax. So now it is the Vmax is the name, it is getting stored in the variable and we are able to access a value. Now the same code, if I run once again, if I am giving a multiple words, for example, I am giving a hello world, 2 words I am giving, okay, right? So now look at the output. Here it is getting only single word. The first word, it will scan only the first word. Since we are using a next function, it will take only one token. Token is nothing but a word. And if you want to take multiple words, for example, if you want to read the entire line of input, no matter how many words are available, if you want to read the entire line of input, there is another option called next line. You can use a next line function where L is capital letter, that you have to understand. Since Java is a case sensitive, once again I am reminding you, so wherever capital letter comes, we have to use it. That is a rule. It's a protocol. So sc.nextLine takes multiple lines of input. So for example, if I run the program again, so now we can see I'll give same output again, hello world. Now look at the output. Here I am able to get hello as well as the next word also. So like this we can access the string data, text data, single word as well as multiple words. So that's all about basic input output operations of a Java program. So thanks for watching this video.